Hey there, movie aficionados. Do you remember those good old days when you kicked back with some popcorn and tuned in to watch the classic 1973 movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid? Ah, those were the times, weren't they? It's incredible how a movie can transport us back in time, stirring up cherished memories. I'm sure you have your own collection of moments etched in your mind, whether it's the rugged landscapes, the unforgettable characters, or the gripping plot twists that kept you on the edge of your seat. Maybe you couldn't help but root for Billy the Kid as he roamed the Wild West, or perhaps you were fascinated by Pat Garrett's relentless pursuit. And let's not forget the iconic music by Bob Dylan that added a soulful layer to this cinematic masterpiece. Now, let's take a moment to reminisce together. What were your favorite scenes or characters from Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid? How did this movie leave its mark on you? Share your stories, and let's dive into the world of nostalgia. But before we get lost in the past, how about we sprinkle in some random facts about the show to pique your curiosity? After all, it's always fun to discover something new about an old favorite. So, let's embark on this journey down memory lane and explore the fascinating world of Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, one tidbit at a time. And remember, this is a friendly chat, so feel free to share your thoughts and memories along the way. Let's get started on this cinematic adventure, shall we? In the making of the 1973 movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, tensions ran high on the set, particularly between actor Kristofferson and director Sam Peckinpah. Heated arguments between the two were a common occurrence, with some fearing that physical fights might erupt. Peckinpah, known for his confrontational nature, expressed a desire to fight Kristofferson, but he believed that the former Army Airborne Ranger would overpower him. In a somewhat surprising response, Kristofferson agreed, saying, "Yeah, Sam, I think you're right." Despite these clashes, Peckinpah referred to Kristofferson as a effing great guy and considered working with him as one of the greatest experiences of my life. Additionally, the film faced technical challenges during production. A Panavision camera with a bent flange resulted in all shots from that camera being out of focus on the right side, rendering the footage unusable. Unfortunately, MGM had initially denied Peckinpah's request for a camera mechanic in Durango, where filming took place. The problem remained undetected for several weeks as all the footage was sent to Los Angeles for processing. Only after the faulty lens was replaced did MGM finally send a camera mechanic to the set. By then, the film was several days behind schedule and significantly over budget, costing several $100,000. Furthermore, the strained relationship between Sam Peckinpah and the studio, as well as the film's producers, reached a breaking point during the editing process. James T. Aubrey, the studio executive, was incensed by the film's escalating costs and production delays. He demanded an unrealistic release date, leaving Peckinpah and his editors in a desperate situation to meet the deadline. Aubrey also insisted on removing several sequences from the film, leading to protracted negotiations over its content. In the end, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid faced its fair share of challenges behind the scenes, from on-set conflicts to technical mishaps and clashes with the studio. Despite these hurdles, the film remains a notable entry in the Western genre, showcasing the complex dynamics of its creators, both in front of and behind the camera. In the 1973 movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, there's an interesting age gap between the actors and the real-life historical figures they portrayed. James Coburn, who played Pat Garrett, was 44 years old during filming, while the real Pat Garrett was around 30 to 31 during the events depicted in the movie. This age difference highlights the artistic liberties taken in casting for the film. Additionally, Kristofferson, who portrayed Billy the Kid, faced similar age-related questions. Many felt he was too old for the role. However, it's worth noting that James Coburn, who played Pat Garrett, was actually older than the historical Pat Garrett. This casting choice adds an intriguing dimension to the film's portrayal of these legendary figures. Furthermore, there's an interesting tidbit about the character Beaver in the movie. Sam Peckinpah, the director, cast Donnie Fritz, a longtime collaborator of Kristofferson's, as a favor. Fritz's character, Beaver, had no scripted lines in the film. Instead, he repeated whatever anyone else said. This unique approach to the character's role adds a distinctive element to the film. In Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, age and casting choices play a notable role in shaping the on-screen portrayals of these historical figures. The film's deviation from historical accuracy in favor of artistic expression sparks discussions about the choices made by the filmmakers. In 1973, the movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid faced significant troubles during production and post-production. One notable incident was when director Sam Peckinpah was forced out of the production. Following this, MGM president James Aubrey took control and decided to cut the film from its original length of 2 hours and 4 minutes to just 1 hour and 46 minutes. Unfortunately, this decision proved to be detrimental. The final cut received harsh criticism from both critics and audiences, and it failed to make a mark at the box office. Many cast and crew members disowned the film due to the drastic alterations made to Peckinpah's vision. In addition to the production woes, there is an interesting tidbit related to the film. Kristofferson and Rita Coolidge, who played significant roles in the movie, married shortly after filming. Their on-set romance turned into a real-life commitment. Lastly, in 2014, Al Pacino revealed in an interview that he had been offered the role of Billy the Kid for the film. However, the opportunity didn't materialize because Pacino couldn't ride a horse, and he had reservations about working with Sam Peckinpah due to the director's reputation for hard living. The 1973 movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid faced challenges both on and off screen, resulting in a critical and financial failure. Despite this, it remains a notable part of film history with its behind-the-scenes stories and the connections it forged among its cast members. In the 1973 movie Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, director Sam Peckinpah faced some key decisions about the film's soundtrack and its ending. One notable decision was the choice of the soundtrack artist. Initially, Peckinpah had Roger Miller, the singer famous for King of the Road, in mind. However, Kristofferson, who played Billy the Kid in the movie, suggested Bob Dylan for the soundtrack. Interestingly, Sam Peckinpah had never heard of Bob Dylan before this suggestion. But when he heard Dylan play the proposed title song, he was reportedly moved by it and hired him immediately for the soundtrack. Furthermore, according to Paul Sador's 2015 book The Authentic Death and Contentious Afterlife of Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, the original 1973 theatrical release had an ending that differed from the 2005 special edition. In the original version, the film ended with a two-shot of a smiling Garrett and Billy from the opening scene. This decision to end the film this way was imposed by MGM president James T. Aubrey, a choice that the editors Roger Spottiswoode, Garth Craven, and Robert L. Wolfe reportedly disliked. In contrast, the 2005 special edition concludes on a freeze frame of Garrett, seemingly being swallowed up by the desert landscape as he leaves Fort Sumner. These decisions about the soundtrack and ending of the film added unique elements to Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, making it a notable piece in cinematic history. As we draw the curtain on our journey through the enigmatic world of the 1973 film Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, I invite you to pause for a moment and reflect on the unique connection you may have forged with this cinematic masterpiece. The allure of this Western classic lies not only in its gripping storyline, but also in its profound exploration of friendship, loyalty, and the inexorable passage of time. Perhaps you found resonance in the complex characters of Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, or maybe the haunting soundtrack by the legendary Bob Dylan struck a chord deep within your soul. In the dusty landscapes of the Old West, we witness a tale of conflicting loyalties, moral dilemmas, and the relentless pursuit of justice. It's a film that leaves an indelible mark on the hearts of its viewers, sparking conversations, memories, and a shared passion for the art of storytelling. Now, I invite you to share your favorite memories, musings, or thoughts about Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. What scenes lingered in your mind, and what emotions did they evoke? How has this film touched your life and left its mark on your cinematic journey? Your unique perspective adds depth to the tapestry of this film's legacy. Thank you for accompanying us on this cinematic odyssey and for sharing your personal connection with this timeless gem. Your presence and engagement make this journey all the more enriching. Until we embark on the next adventure, keep the spirit of storytelling alive. Warm regards.